Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mondays. This week we will be discussing, I was going to call it Captain America, but we're close. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 2, The Spangled-Man, which is why I was thinking Captain America.
Yeah.
As always, I'm joined by Kyle.
What's up, everyone?
Hi, Kyle.
I am going to apologize up front about any audio issues because my wife and I are redoing the studio, as you guys have seen pictures, and all of my good equipment is in the other room while we finish up, and so I'm on my Chinese gaming headset, so which the audio is great. Like, I love playing on this thing. Games, when I used to play games.
Yeah.
It's great, but the mic's not the best. It's good for gaming, but that's it.
Yeah. There. So, let's just start with, what did you think of the episode, Kyle? How did it compare to the first?
Absolutely loved this episode. It went in every direction you and I pretty much thought. They said super soldiers right off the bat. They're connecting things to Hydra's experiments, America's experiments. I loved it, and it's showing how personal that this is for Sam, and I really like this whole in the movies. We don't get character arcs, but not like we have in these two shows.
You're not going to see him go to the bank, which is actually something that is good. It's not, and that sounds like a boring scene from the last episode, but it's actually a good scene.
Yeah, and the character stuff, man. I love this shit. I will say the CGI on the truck fight definitely lacking compared to that opening fight scene from episode 1. What did you think?
I also loved it. I like it better than episode 1, just because I don't know. It's just we're into the buddy cop part. They're button heads.
You finally got them together. I
really like some of the stuff we're going to discuss about deeper relationships and, like you said, American experiments.
Mm-hmm.
I just read an article, I think on Hollywood Reporter, where they were like, how this episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier embraces or introduces Marvel's original sin, which is a good way. I like the way they put that, but we'll get to more details after my first impressions. And yeah, it was great. It has 100% Rotten Tomatoes, this episode, so obviously nothing to complain about. And I don't really notice. My friend thought that the worst CGI he saw was Red Wing when it was flying through the warehouse, but it's like, it's Red Wing. How much special effects does he fucking take?
and again, these shows, they're new. I don't know if they used stagecraft like Star Wars did or not. They're different, so they're getting a bit of they look better than anything on CW or ABC, Hulu's Marvel and DC shows. It still looks better than that.
Better than WandaVision's finale, even, I would say.
The opening, yeah. The truck fight, no.
All right, I guess we're ready to get into full-on spoilers, though I don't think anyone's listening who hasn't seen it anyway.
Yeah.
What would be the point of that? I love the opening to this.
The music and the with the thing or something different.
Well, I even like how it starts with. I like how for some reason the Marvel logo packs a bigger punch for me if it comes after a scene. Like even in Civil War, where you see the Winter Soldier do his shit and then the Marvel logo starts. This had that with John Walker seeming like a good guy at the beginning, seeming like a great guy, because he's stressed. He doesn't want to let anyone down.
Right. He's a soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just his buddy, his Bucky, almost literally, if we get into the comics later.
Yeah, Battlestar, the Sergeant Major.
Yep. Who went by Bucky in the comics a few times. which I'll talk about later. I actually looked up a few characters and stuff, like his name. He has a girlfriend. It's his high school sweetheart, obviously, because he's back in his high school locker room that she used to sneak into. He's got his military friend, his black military friend. I just like to say that because it's like Andrew kind of groaned when he was watching it, because he's like, what's with all the like Tony Stark and first Captain America and even new Captain America's sidekicks being black? I'm like, well, Bucky is it?
Yeah.
He's the original sidekick.
But honestly, like,
true to the comics.
Not just that, it's true to life. I was in the army for 17 years, which is the largest DoD's largest employer there is, most diverse group, 500,000 active duty soldiers from all 50 states, all territories, and several other 100 countries across the world, right? And this show is showing that while there are a lot of positives on the societal side of things, that there's still things that are institutionalized. That's the word they like to use. I like ingrained or entrenched more than institutionalized, because it almost sounds like it's done on purpose, which maybe originally was, but today I don't know, because we still have things like blue laws on books, like no drinking on Sunday, anti-sodomy laws. Laws are weird, but the cool thing is it's realistic. It's realistic. Yeah. I mean, fuck. I only had one non-black first sergeant in 17 years, and he was Hispanic. I mean, the military is incredibly diverse. That's what I'm getting at. It's great, and bravo to Marvel. You guys fucked up the hair, but you guys did the uniforms good. No popped collars. The patches were on the right side, and I noticed Cap's uniform has a reverse flag
the right
on
way
the
too. Yeah.
On the right. It's got them on both, but the reverse flag on the right shoulder, prior to Iraq and Afghanistan, you only wore when you were deployed, and the idea is that patch represents the flag carriers of U.S. military history, always going forward, and when you go forward, the flag waves backwards.
Yeah.
And so to me, I caught that, like, why is he wearing a flag on his right side? And then I saw he's got it on both, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it.
It's instead of the A.
Yeah.
Which
it definitely shows that
Cap's
it's a
later suits, he has the
thing.
Avengers brand,
yep.
and this is military Captain America.
Exactly.
This is the government's Captain America, as they point out later when he tells them that he is the government. They are the government.
Yeah. And I loved it. Anyways, continue. And what did she do in the locker room that made him play so well?
Yeah, I thought that too. It's like, maybe that's why we kept winning. Or always wanting to make it sound like.
There's a episode of Scrubs. Did you ever watch Scrubs?
I've watched, I think, probably every episode except maybe the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, well, the very last of the regular season, season 8, has one of the best endings in TV history. I was so mad that they continued it, because it was great. But there's shit. It was gonna be something Turk said, and it was related. You know what? I lost it. Yeah, Turkleton. What was it that Turk said that was related to? I lost it. Anyways, continue on.
Is he good at surgery because he's always banging what's her face in the?
That's what it was.
Nice.
he was having nervous issues in the OR, and Dr. Cox was like, physician, love thyself, right? And he's like, release some stress. But it's a legit thing. I've heard it from several doctors that before they go on shift, before they go in the OR, they will relieve a little tension. And anyways, Turk does it, and everyone, Dr. Cox got everyone to like sit outside the on-call room. So when he came out, they're all like clapping and stuff. And so yeah, weird tangent, but It's not.
I just hope these surgeons are washing their hands after.
Yeah,
doctors to do this shit.
They have to wash their hands. But yeah, I mean, we're all human. It does relieve stress. Endorphins, period, relieve stress, whether it's with yourself or with a partner. So it's kind of, I'm enjoying these little things like that in this show. You know?
Oh yeah.
Makes it more like the comics.
So yeah, so his sidekick. Well, see, the thing is, like, they're not traditional sidekicks either in this world. Like Bucky, for example, it's just Steve got the superhero serum, or John Walker got handed the shield. So obviously, anyone who works with him is going to appear as a sidekick because they're not Captain America. But yeah, so his friend's name is Lamar Hoskins. We will talk about him later because, like almost everyone on the show, he is a character from the comics.
You know what they should have done though, since it's a Captain America and he was wearing Captain rank, it shouldn't have been a first sergeant major. It should have been a first sergeant. But anyway, go ahead. First sergeant has a diamond in the middle instead of a star, so that's why they did the sergeant major thing.
I don't know these things, so I didn't notice. But so yeah, he comes in. You know, John Walker. He gives John Walker the pep talk. Because they've like, even though he has a line where he's like, think about it, 2 weeks ago we were like serving special, you know, like he brings up what their last mission is. And now, and then John Walker complains about exactly what Cap was complaining about back in his day, where he's like, I don't get to do anything. I'm like just meeting senators and stuff like that.
Shaking hands.
Yeah. And this is exactly what this situation is. And then I loved when Hoskins said he was the Spangled-Man with the plan.
Yeah.
That's the lyrics to the song that title's referencing, which then is played in big band music over the opening credits, which is what made me smile. So the Marvel opening credits with that song being played by like a band. You know, then he comes out and does the whole Good Morning America. And I thought he was crazy because it was nighttime, but he's literally doing Good Morning America.
Good Morning America show. Yeah. It starts at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. So depending on Eastern time. So
if it's even live, it could be a pre-shot.
Yeah, they were in Georgia. Right. And so yeah, I can see it still being nighttime. And
what's also great, it's interesting that I commented on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, that it felt, you know, this is kind of like it feels like a racist thing with the government putting a white man in power. But then Jonesy was like, why? This guy's obviously qualified. Like, they list his qualifications, and he's literally the best shape a man can be in without having a superhero. They studied his body at MIT, and he throws and catches that shield in those clips on Good Morning America like it's nobody's business. So that's our first scene. What did you think about? I was very excited and shocked we got that much U.S. agent that quickly, considering how he's barely been in the trailers.
I really enjoyed us getting to see him. It's interesting that we see him throwing the shield that way. It makes me wonder if he's got serum secretly, like he wasn't aware of it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been experimented on himself, maybe. But that was weird.
I was gonna ask you if you thought that, because I wouldn't even be surprised if he knew about it.
Yeah, and that's possible too.
Either way,
either way,
there's something
different
he looks
about him.
That shield should rip your arms off when it comes back that fast.
Like that, yeah. And you can tell that he definitely is not Steve, because the way he catches it, it's really hard, and he's even grimacing and stuff like that. And
he's a lot skinnier.
And he has a lot of effort to do it. Yeah. It was this show, like I said last week, it would have made no sense to all of a sudden everyone in America can't stand a black Captain America, and that it would be Sam's story and his own idea of self-worth and value and the experiences that he's gone through, and we get a taste of that later on after they visit a certain someone. But yeah, it's great. I like how they try to humanize Walker. At first, he does make some mistakes, and you can see, we'll get to them, where it could go dark like the comics, or it could go better than the comics. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, what else? That's probably good for that scene. It was just, yeah, that main question I had for you is what we both already talked about. I was like, do you think he's been dosed either way?
Yeah, I do. I think either knowingly or not, he's been dosed with something.
Yeah, because he still gets the shit kicking out of him in a later scene, which we'll talk about. I actually enjoyed that scene quite a bit.
Yes.
I think from there we go to Sam and Bucky meeting again for the first time since the funeral.
And talking about the big three.
Yeah, talking about the big three. Of course, Bucky's upset that he gave up the shield. And Sam has a great line. Oh, no, before that, this scene was heartbreaking to me. Bucky watching on TV.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, did you ever meet Captain America? He's like, no, but I would like to think that like we would be close friends or whatever. And there's his actual close friend watching it from the floor.
Yeah,
where he's been sleeping.
Very, very sad. Again, and when we get to the therapy session, it's very fun to follow Sam's story, and very enlightening and relevant and great. But I can personally relate to many things going on in Barnes's life, and I love that we're getting so much character in here. So continue.
So from there, they meet up. They have their wizard conversation everyone's seen. I still love that. I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first
came out.
How do you know about
Christine
Gandalf?
Laughed so hard at that.
And there are pictures all over the place. Cap is back. It's totally in everyone's face. Sam obviously isn't happy about it, but he's still defending. He's like, look, I made my decision. Like,
and that's
I'm not him, and this guy shouldn't be him either. But I'm not him.
Yep.
Like
that's the thing, and we got to get to that therapy part for me to say what I really want to say. But you're right on. Sam is talking about it from the get-go, his point of view, and like often, no one's listening to him. And it reminds me of when media personalities, social media, whatever, people trying to do the right thing, but end up taking attention from the actual person, victim, situation, or whatever, and pulling that attention over to them and being like, oh, woe is me because of XYZ social issues or ABC things I did or whatever. And it's like, this isn't about you. This is about them. Shut up and listen to them. Like, your feelings are valid and stuff, and we can get to them, but listen to Sam. Sam's got some shit he needs to say. Hey.
Make some comment about like how long Bucky's been around, that he doesn't get, just because of that he doesn't get to make decisions for Sam.
Yeah.
Or like even just assume that he's like, hey, back up. I mean, I didn't come this far to have someone like you making decisions for me.
Things like that. It's going good. Shout out to my buddy on Twitter, Jeff Charles. Trying to sneak him over here for one of these episodes. He's enjoying the show quite well, and he liked the podcast, the episode 1, and so thanks for listening, Jeff, and told you so.
Yes, thanks for listening, everyone. Especially you, Jeff.
Except for that one guy.
And you, Chris.
With the face that does the thing. Fuck that guy. I hate him.
So then we're off to the races. Like, they meet, it's time to go. Yeah, we track down these guys.
Battle time.
First, we gotta take a plane there, and Sam S gets to jump out of the plane. And then it's Bucky's turn to try the the Steve Rogers maneuver.
Did he jump out with a pair? Or did he have a shoot? No, he didn't.
yeah, that old line from Rumlow of all people.
Yeah,
but he's not obviously multiple times.
What's insane? And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know some people really hate me, but if I don't get ideas out, they
you're good.
They lose. And what you just said, Rumlow, he was actually impressed with Cap.
Yeah, and he was Hydra.
He was really hoping that they could get Cap on their side, but that would never happen. But it's little things like that little line, and we all watched Justice League, Snyder's Justice League, which I think it's almost unanimous. We all believe it's better than the theatrical. Some people really love it. Watched it 3-4 times, Nick. Joking.
I did watch it twice, but I owed a friend.
Yeah. But I can't think of any lines like that I throw back to from any of Snyder's DC films,
To Martha.
Besides the
Do
Martha
you bleed?
thing.
Martha and I'm rich. There you go.
Yeah, I can't believe that
booyah.
"I rich" line was actually John's Terrio and Snyder. So whatever.
Chris Terrio.
Yeah. Well,
so we're off on the adventure. I like also that Bucky isn't confident from the beginning because, when Cap and Falcon jump out, they're like,
yeah.
And Bucky's kind of hesitant, and then he jumps, hits every tree branch on the way down,
trying to find something to grab with his arm. Yeah.
Falls flat on his back. He's a super soldier. He's fine. His arm is made of vibranium. It's fine. But
they said they were too low for a shoot, and definitely the trees are an issue. But as a super soldier, if those trees weren't there, I still would have used the chute because it still would have slowed you down a bit and would have allowed him to use that arm more effectively. But whatever.
The trees, he would just got stuck at the top.
The trees were a problem, and that's exactly
Germany.
why he didn't use. Yeah.
So then, Red Wing makes fun of him via Red Wing.
Yes, I love it.
And Bucky fucking hates that thing and wants to destroy it. And then they go into the warehouse because they're tracking. They have a name this time, right?
Flag Smashers. They are.
Flag Smashers, right? They call them the Flag Smashers.
They are the Flag Smashers.
Because the beginning of the last episode, there was it a different
LFM
organization
or something like that?
But that was the Flag Smashers.
FLM, something like that. Yeah.
You give me a second. I spilled stuff.
Okay. Your name's Nick, not Kyle. Why are you drinking Monster?
I mean, I'm actually not. It's Red Bull. I prefer Red Bull because it's in smaller cans. They don't make a smaller can of Monster. Anyway.
I like Monster.
The warehouse.
I like Monster Import. Have you ever had Monster Import made with real sugar?
No.
Oh,
I only had just original.
I discovered them in Afghanistan. They're sold in Europe, and they started selling them at least on military bases. I don't know about off base, but I could buy them at the shopettes and stuff on Stewart or Leonard Wood or wherever,
good.
And then in Afghanistan and
like the Coke with real sugar.
Yep.
Which I anyway. Where were we? Oh yeah, then they're in the warehouse. Okay, so after the fall, they make their way in the warehouse. They're watching the Flag Smashers. Bucky's being Bucky. He sees two. Falcon's got to be Falcon with all of his new tech and being like, now how many you see, huh? And, they're just lifting stuff easily. And then they think there's a hostage.
Yep.
Because there's a person in the back of one of them. So
sitting
they chase
all
them
sad
as
and lonely, like.
Yeah, looking like a hostage based on posture. And they take off in the two container trucks. Anything to say about this little section before we get into the action?
No, there's not much. It's just fun interactions with Sam and Bucky.
Yeah. Again, we're finally getting the buddy cop stuff that I love. The little clashes here and there. they accidentally make a noise, which is what alerts the other people to take off. So then Bucky goes at normal Bucky speed and chases down the truck up front, which is, established. Black Panther, Black Panther, and Steve Rogers are all running at the speed of vehicles.
I like that
it's not
line.
Like it's crazy.
Was that line earlier, or does that line come later? That line comes during the fight, I think. The White Panther.
Oh, that comes earlier. That's when he's sneaking down the hallway.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, you're like, what'd you learn? Wakanda, White Panther. And then he brings up the White Wolf reference from the end credits of Black Panther, I believe. Yeah. Because even though his White Wolf is completely different than the comic version.
It was just like a
another Easter egg name.
Easter egg. Yeah.
But still, it's fun. Like, this is Marvel referencing itself, just like the movies would. No steps lost. Just like, WandaVision, all the Marvel, that's their strength. It's like, hey, we're calling out a post-credit scene.
Yep.
Even the White Panther joke that was funny before he says, no, it's the White Wolf. And we'll talk about the Black Falcon line later. But so they're fighting on top.
Funny. Yeah.
Well, first, Bucky rescues the hostage who isn't a hostage. It's that super, like, Irish looking actress with like the reddest, curliest hair and like freckles all over her face, who I recognize just from Solo.
Right.
She was part of what they thought Woody Harrelson considered the bad guys, where they were just trying to steal the fuel themselves so they could start a rebellion, yada, yada, yada. But it's that actress. So she's apparently on Disney's good side. She's got Marvel and Star Wars in the bank. They'll give her a Pixar movie next. I don't know.
I haven't seen her in anything else. And you know me, I didn't care for Solo at all. And I didn't have any issues with her. I had issues with her character. Thought her character was stupid and pointless. But I'm excited to see more because I always like being introduced to new actors and actresses. So,
and she is pretty good so far. She gives Bucky the creepiest smile before she just kicks him with her super strength on the other truck. Big fight scene. I don't know what Falcon and Bucky were thinking. They're getting owned because they're like fighting, 5 to 6 super soldiers at once on top of the trucks.
But they didn't.
And they're really screwed. And then in comes the shield and bang, knocks one of them over. And it's Captain America and he jumps on the roof. I don't know. I'm not a gun person in real life. I think it's badass when he's holding the gun in one hand and the shield in the other hand. Well, he has a pose kind of like this where his gun's up and his shield is down at one point, and you're like, that's cool. And like you said last time, Cap uses guns throughout the movies. When he need, I think the only time he does in modern day is in Avengers when they're fighting Hydra and Tony Stark's trying to repair the turbine. Steve just grabs one of their machine guns and starts taking down Hydra goons.
Yeah.
Well, not even Hydra, Loki goons.
Goons, yeah. I agree. Some of the people that think that this is some sort of statement, you're wrong. Bucky carried a gun when he was Cap. Cap carried a gun from time to time when he was Cap.
Usually war times for Cap.
And U.S. agent.
Everyone else does, though.
Yeah, always had a gun. So this isn't a statement.
No. And we're going to see Bucky use a gun in this series. We've seen him versus Zemo and the shells falling.
But what's funny is you and I both...
Iron Man is a gun.
Yeah. You and I both watch other YouTubers after we watch our stuff, to see if we missed anything and yada, yada. There are a lot of people that really seem to want to make the gun a bigger deal than it. I'm just like... It's just how it is in the comics, guys. Carry on. He's a military guy. He's in the army right now.
And I think that combined with the army part, it's a good symbol to show that he's in the army, and that shows the difference between him and the Cap we know, who, with the old Cap, would go against the government, if he thought they were wrong. The Sokovia Accords. I watched part of Civil War last night with my friends after we watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But, so, they have the big fight. They get their asses kicked, even when Hoskins and they're calling him Captain America. I still want to call him U.S. Agent. We can call him Walker, New Captain America, or John Walker. I'll refer to him as John Walker right now. Even they get their asses kicked. Walker is really good with the shield. He has a sweet move where he saves Hoskins' life by throwing the shield under him. And then, as my friends had to point out, and I was not happy they pointed it out, he gets punched and conveniently lands on a vehicle that's following way too close, considering there's an action scene going on. I didn't even notice it. They noticed it instantly and brought it up, and I'm like, stop insulting the show.
It's in the script. It's in the script.
Yeah. So I'll bring us through the next scene, and then we'll discuss John Walker and Hoskins stuff. So they're walking, they're having a little android conversation about I can see it happening. I can see the gears grinding or whatever. And then Walker and Hoskins are in the back. Obviously, they're not driving it themselves. They're in the back of a military vehicle driving Jeep, by, and the Jeep, and they stop, open the door. Falcon and the Winter Soldier ignore it.
Keep walking.
He's like, come on, guys, like we got to work together. Like at least give us 20 miles to the airport. At least let us give you a ride. They finally get in. We learned that I don't remember if I even said the theory last week that I think I did that there's a possibility the military was fucking with his Red Wing.
Yes.
And it's not, they haven't fucked on it to sabotage him. They fucked with it to track him.
Yep. We find that out.
He is working for them, but they still don't want a completely free agent running around. I mean, these Avengers, vigilantes still have a record, as it were. You
got to think with, and not just that, the record's a good point, but after Tony dies, there's all this equipment. There's time travel equipment. I don't think there's any Thanos equipment left because Tony snapped Thanos and his army away.
There would be some tech laying around.
There's definitely Avengers tech laying around. And the U.S. military, U.S. government, just like in Spider-Man Homecoming, are definitely going to want to clean that shit up, get a hold of it fast. And even though Falcon is contracted out, the suit and Red Wing were all under government contracts when they were Avengers and stuff. So
just as he says, John Walker says, he's like, it's military property. What do you like? And we're the military, or we're the government. It's government property, and we're the government. Which is one, like we said with the gun thing, is one of the main ways pointing out that he's way different than Cap Classic. And they have their little drive, and they're talking about working together. And then they're like, well, I need a little bit more than Hoskins from a guy who jumped out of a helicopter. And he's like, oh, yeah, they call me Battlestar. Whatever. And then Bucky's like,
stop the car. I'm out.
And then Falcon has his I'm out movie after the microaggression where John Walker's like, I know you were Cap's wingman or something.
He says, I need Cap's. It would be better if I had Cap's wingman.
And that's when he's like,
misunderstanding the relationship between Cap and Falcon. Yeah.
And they both leave. And then, so I want to go into a little bit of history here based on Earth 616, the comics.
Sure.
Not all this. Obviously, we know it's like WandaVision. Not all this comes to pass.
Right.
But Lamar Hoskins, yes, eventually he's called Battlestar. But before that, he was an official Bucky when John Walker was Captain America in the comics. Because they always wanted to have a Bucky, and they didn't trust Bucky Barnes.
Yeah.
So he literally held the title of Bucky. Even, in fact, multiple people have throughout the years. Like we had Captain America's right after he died. That was also served in World War II with their own Buckies. Bucky, even though it's his name, became like the sidekick title. Which is probably why he got the Winter Soldier title eventually. And also, obviously, the line earlier in this episode, which is in the trailer, or one of the scenes, is like where Falcon calls him Buck. And he's like, you don't get to do that.
Only Cap could do that. Yeah, only Steve could do that.
But that's true to the comics. But what's also true to the comics is that eventually Battlestar and John Walker do get the superhero serum, and they get it from the Power Broker, who is someone we talked about last week, and actually, I thought it was going to be our big Mephisto. But no, later in the episode we have more reveals about him. So he's not a Mephisto. I think we'll see him. We know he exists. It's not like we're referencing someone who hasn't even been named. He was named in the credits last week. He also has a history with Torres, who he turns into like a mutated Falcon at some point. I don't think we'll see that in the show, but I do think they will, if they don't already have it, this will be a main argument as to why John Walker doesn't already have it. I think eventually the power broker does give it John Walker and Hoskins.
Yeah, I wonder if he's been secretly dosed with small doses by Ross, kind of like what he did with Tim Roth's character Abomination and Incredible Hulk, where he gave him the low dose first and he got stronger, but then he went nuts with it. That's what I think might have already happened, but I agree with you that he himself has not gotten like a full dose knowingly yet. I don't think. It's possible, but we'll see.
And of course, I read through his history. Dr. Carl Malice is his name, but they could make anyone the power broker. It could be a woman. It could be a different character combined with the power broker. Right now, he's just being given the code name.
Yep.
The power broker. And that was the other thing I like so much about the other scene that I was talking to my friend Andrew about, where he's like on Battlestar. It's like half the Avengers don't actually use their names. From the
I know.
Wanda wasn't called the Scarlet Witch until like 6 years later, and already the government's labeled its two official superheroes. They've given them both titles, Captain America and Battlestar.
I was gonna say they did, Captain America real fast, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because he was the government also,
and government is cheesy and filled with old people out of touch, so they would definitely be like, let's do a name. The nicknames are cool. It reminds me of that scene in Infinity War. Oh, we're using our made up names. And I'm Spider-Man.
Or isn't there a line from Hayward in WandaVision where he's like, what's this character is like?
Does she have a name or anything?
Yeah, does she have a silly name or a nickname? Yeah. And so actually a theory I have, since we're just here talking about all three of them, power brokers, kind of like Ross, his superhero serum is not known to be the most stable. And I'm imagining in this show, we'll get to it a little bit later, that we already kind of seen the turn in John Walker, but I think we're going to see a Green Goblin effect of the superhero serum that's going to
I agree,
make them more aggressive.
And take some of the elements from when he was a wrestler in the comics and make that part of the U.S. agent / Captain America story in this. I could see that very much.
That would be really interesting. Yeah, I mean, there are other weirder side effects they have in the comics, but that would be. And one thing I forgot the name of the world. There's an organization right now in the world that GRE. It's one that's it's set up to help people.
Oh yeah,
who are gone with Social Security and get them resources.
Camps
and basically like a big COVID bill. Where it's like, these people need help because this has never happened before. Yeah. So we need to pass something to help people who came home and have no home. Or the people who they've been labeled as dead in the system,
For 5 years, yeah.
And if you haven't noticed it, Kyle, I know I actually didn't get to watch the videos this week, and you probably did. But all the cases that say that are called vaccines and say vaccines inside the truck they're stealing have the same, if it's GRE or whatever it is written on all those also. And they're also vaccines, which is interesting, in 2021 to be watching a show where villains are stealing vaccines.
Yeah.
If they are vaccines.
Yeah. I will say this. Thank you, Marvel, for doing a 5-year time jump and not feeling this desperate need for TV or your movies to reflect every little thing that's happening today. I get angry sometimes. I don't watch sitcoms, like modern sitcoms that much, or much TV other than the news anyways, but one of those Chicago shows, PD, FD, ER, whatever. There's three of them. And it's all
the Chicago universe or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. And it's all masks all the time. I got it. You want to make sure you're, spreading the message. Hey, but sometimes TV is escapism, and that's like I see masks enough, so I'm glad we're in the future and we're not wearing masks in the Falcon
Plus,
Winter
like,
Soldier.
think about the Marvel timeline. If half the population doesn't exist, does a pandemic spread like that? There's less people, less crowded planet.
You're right, and what's more than likely happened is,
what if his snap killed the bat that had it?
In the 5 years that has gone by, we don't know whole things like viruses popping up. We don't know things like we don't know things like when you're blipped and you come back, is your immune system the same as it was before, or it's an interesting thing, like you said, vaccines. I don't know if it'll play into anything, but we'll see.
I remember there used to be the rumor that they were doing reshoots because it was about a pandemic. But that seemed not to be true. It just seemed to be that they were behind in shooting more than WandaVision, because obviously WandaVision can be done on like one location, even one set. Like the downtown of Westview is always the Warner Brothers lot because it's easy. They have a gazebo right in the middle, and they have all that stuff. No, Universal lot, excuse me. And part of the other scenes are the Warner Brothers lot. But
and then everything else was not Pinewood, but Atlanta.
Yeah, like most of it's shot inside of a soundstage. But in Falcon and the Winter Soldier's case, they were shooting in Prague and
Germany,
all over the
At least establishing shots they got in real locations.
Puerto Rico, they were even shooting. So it's like, they actually had to shut down production more. I don't think they were reshoots. I think it was them shutting down more is what switched the order of those shows.
Me too.
Plus, maybe they're not vaccines. Maybe they're superhero serums being hidden in vaccine containers. Because we haven't heard of any pandemic going or disease.
Maybe somebody saw that image and thought, that's where the story will go. We'll see. Like I said, pandemics and shit happen. Like I just was making a comment on the Chicago thing, because it is so weird to see it on like written TV like that. It's just like, I get it, but it's weird. Anyways, carry on. We're on Marvel Multiverse Mondays, not Chicago PD.
So then Bucky and Falcon. Bucky is like, I got something to show you, when they're in the helicopter going back. And they go to a very important place, to a very important character in Marvel's history. Middle of Baltimore, a very black neighborhood. I mean, that's where we had the line where the kid calls him. It's like, my dad says you're the Black Falcon.
Black Falcon, yep.
He's like, what, does that make you black, kid?
I got him, didn't I?
Yeah, and the other kid like gives him a high five and stuff.
I like that line a lot. Two reasons. One, it points out an obvious, issue in society. But number two, it also points out the problem with others picking labels. When I was in Iraq, one of my roommates, I'll just use his name, Hollywood, and another guy in our unit, we'll call him Mike. We all got into a conversation about labels, right? Mike had heard someone say black and had gotten onto the African American thing, and Hollywood asked him, because Hollywood's one of those, he doesn't like the African American title. He's like, well, what would you call a Jamaican in America? And Mike couldn't come up with anything. And that's why I like it, because
it's weird though, because it's changed. When I was a kid, African American was what you had to say.
And a lot of people don't like. It's like there was
Idris Elba moves to the United States. He's an African American. He was raised in the United Kingdom. Man.
Right. and that I think that's what Sam was getting at, and that goes again with his character and his experiences. Labels, names, things you've been told, called. Why is it got to be Black Falcon? He's just the Falcon. It's all important. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I love it.
I gotta go on a slight tangent. It ties it.
Go ahead.
I think it could possibly be referencing a Key and Peele sketch. Possibly, it makes sense in the show. There's a sketch where they're all in Falcons, like almost in like a Power Rangers way, where there are 5 of them and they're going to combine together to form like a Megazord or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And I remember that.
And Rob Hules, and he keeps calling Jordan Peele Black Falcon, even though he's in the green Falcon ship, because even when he's like, fuck this, and he flies away in his green Falcon, he's like, Black Falcon, where is Green Falcon? It's like, how about what if I called hers Yellow Falcon?
Yeah, right.
So funny.
It was,
or him Red Falcon, because Jordan Peele is playing, Keegan-Michael Key is playing a Native American. Hey, that's racist.
Like the original Power Rangers, Trini, the Asian girl, was put in the yellow suit. Zach, the black man, was put in the black suit, and Kimberly, the girl, put in the pink suit. That makes sense, but definitely there was some not so great things from Power Rangers. But yeah, they fixed it in later on and in that movie. Ludi Lin, I think his name is. He's playing Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat. I think that's next month. He did good in it. Anyways, sorry, tangents, go.
No, yeah, I'm the one crossing the tangent. Don't forget. So they go up to Isaiah Bradley's house. This is who Bucky is taking him to see. And a younger man answers, "We don't know his name yet,
but we think we do."
Yeah, well, I forgot. I am spacing on his name from the comics.
We think he's going to be Patriot. I forget the kid's name.
I forget the kid's name at the moment. Actually, I could come up with that in just a second.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll get to Isaiah Bradley. If you've seen the episode, which hopefully you have, you obviously know what we're going to say about him.
He's Eli Bradley. Eli Bradley is Patriot.
Yeah, you're right. Eli Bradley's his grandson. And yeah, he could still be grandson age in this. We've mentioned maybe great grandson in the past would also work. But it appears that the superhero serum keeps you aging a little slower, but not a lot slower, because he's pretty old. And he mentions fighting in the Korea versus 50s, Bucky Barnes. That's why he lets them in, because Bucky's like, tell him it's the guy from the bar and Wen Yang or whatever the hell it is. And he's like, I just wanted to let you in to see if you're going to kill me and to see if you got that metal arm back. Because he talks about how people after people were sent in to take him down, and finally the government sent him in, which we'll explain in a minute why he was chosen. And he does. He said he took half of his metal arm with him. He wanted to see if it would grow back. He's like, yep, looks like it grew back. He's just an old black man. Turns out Steve Rogers didn't even know about him, because Steve Rogers was in the ice when all this happened, but he was the second Captain America technically. I assume he never held the title in this. But when they were practicing to get this, at least in the comics, they tested the serum on 200 people, obviously black people, because they didn't want to hurt anyone. kind of the Tuskegee Airmen.
The Marvel's version
situation.
Of Tuskegee.
And this is the original Sin
experiment. Yeah,
it's the original Sin we were talking about. He got super strength and he was used in these situations, but he was never considered a hero. No one knows about him. And he said, I was locked in jail for 30 years and they just came into my cell and they were taking blood. And then he also says it wasn't just the U.S. government, it was you people, pointing to Bucky, and Hydra. Bucky later saying it was Hydra.
Yeah.
So
he was probably captured at some point, and I'm wondering if that's why he was put in jail. He was captured and maybe they didn't trust him, or maybe he saw something and decided to go against them, and that's why they put him in jail. I'm curious.
I think they put him in jail just to experiment on him and to keep his mouth shut. We all know how dark it is. But then here's how I think Hydra experimented on him, actually. I just thought of this. Hydra's been in S.H.I.E.L.D. all along. And maybe he was finally released after the fall of Hydra. That's why he's just living in like a poor neighborhood and an old house. Showed his super strength by like throwing like a Mentos little thing through the wall.
I will say this the girl from Solo, her last name is the same last name as the power broker from the comics in the show.
Oh shit!
According to
IMDb. I
IMDb.
see her name later. Dang, interesting. I didn't think about that. So then,
and she gets that text that you stole something from me and I want it back or whatever.
Yeah. He texts them before they deal with them later. But one other thing I forgot, it's a dumb Easter egg that surely doesn't mean anything. But the truck has the same license plate number as Wanda's car. One of the big trucks. It's like, that's just reusing. The date must be some special date for Marvel. It's not like her car morphed into a truck. Oh. It's none of that.
For using props.
Plus, it was
stuff, guys.
But so yes, they go to meet him, and then Sam's pissed that he didn't already know about him, or no one knew about him. Like, how could no one know? He basically was. Yeah, he's a war hero.
Mm-hmm.
He fought the Winter Soldier and did more damage to Bucky than Bucky did to him. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then that's when he's like, Steve didn't know, and then they're shouting at each other, and the cops pull up because there's a black man yelling at a white man.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Is everything okay here, sir?" And they're both trying to deflate it. I've seen this in TV shows before too, or even like cell phone footage. Where like, why do I have to show you my ID? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do I have to show you the ID? Like, and then of course, just like you also see in TV shows and stuff, like if it's an athlete or something, like, oh no, wait, that's Falcon. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I would have arrested a normal black guy, but I didn't know you were the famous
Not
one.
a celebrity.
Yeah. And then in the end, it's Bucky who gets arrested because
that's
he
why
missed.
They were there. Yeah.
Well, no, I think they was there driving through the neighborhood.
Well, with how many showed up, I don't know.
I thought that was reacting initially to Falcon because the cops overdo it in real life sometimes.
If somebody recognizes Bucky and they go,
and then they ran the names
an APB
like, oh,
out on him. Yeah, that makes
Sam,
sense.
you're good. Bucky, you missed your PO basically by
his court-ordered therapy.
Yeah, because you missed therapy.
Yep.
So they lug him off to jail. I assume we cut back to the team in between this, the bad guys. They're welcomed by that one dude into a space they can use. That's where we learn the redheaded girl who seems to be in charge name. They have the wanted things for them all they're deleting, and that's where she gets the text saying like, shouldn't have stolen from me, or whatever it says. I think it is
super soldier serum, like you said.
Because they're all superheroes. I mean, they're all super soldiers. So where else would they get it too?
And
in fact, maybe that's how
Thea Bradley's blood is what I'm guessing. Maybe Abominations too.
Somehow, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Power Broker makes this stuff in the comics. It's not always consistent.
Yeah.
Like, I think it gave Torres Falcon wings and like Falcon eyes. Who's the guy and he becomes the Falcon when Falcon becomes a Captain America for a brief period. But he's like a mutated Falcon, not like just a guy wearing a suit. And I like I said before, don't think that'll happen in this series. It's just, but these other Power Broker things are making sense.
Yeah.
As far as Captain America or U.S. Agent probably getting it later, these guys stealing it from him. Maybe they stole money too. Looks like they were stealing. I guess we don't have no idea what was in the bags in the opening scene. And maybe the stuff they were loading up is his. All we know is that he's angry at them and they actually fear him. Even though they're all super soldiers,
which is interesting. And the guys that show up at the plane when it's trying to escape, and one of the flag smashers goes, to delay the Power Brokers team. They're speaking. One of the guys speaks perfectly clear American English.
Yeah. They act like they're, I don't know, they just seem,
even though they're not in America.
There's some kind of organization there because there's sometimes Power Broker is also an organization. But we'll see how
badass would it be at the very, very, very last episode. Somebody's like, I'm here to see the Power Broker, and they walk in and it's Wilson Fisk.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's Vincent Dion for
D'Onofrio.
Thank you.
My boy.
And it's he's the Power Broker. I would need a change of pants.
So there's all that. Then when we go to prison, Bucky's getting out, and the therapist shows up. And then Sam's like, "Oh, you got him out or whatever." She's like, "No, I didn't do this." And then we get the cockiest version of John Walker's getting more and more cocky. Where he's like, "Oh yeah, man, that was me." And then she was like, "Who's authorization?" And he's like, mine." Like the two thumbs like pointing at himself. He's not wearing the mask. He's just signing autographs, giving high fives. And he's like, "Well, we'll see you two outside. I need to talk to you guys both outside after." And then they get brought into therapy for a hilarious scene. And the most heartbreaking line of the episode, I think, where Jammer, after seeing the trailer, was like, they better give a, like, the fault of this genre sometimes is there's not enough reason for the two to bounce off each other. And he's like, they look angry at each other, but they better give a reason for it. It can't just be I hate you line from Civil War. Has to be more than that. And this is the reason. Bucky's not just the reason Bucky's upset that he got rid of the shield is he says, well, Steve, something like, well, Steve
trusted you, believed
he trusted you or something.
Had faith. If
Steve was wrong about you,
then
what does that mean about me? Yeah. And that's like Bucky's problem, is because he's been operating as a villain against his will. And the only reason he thinks he can be better is that Steve
said so.
Has treated him like he's still Bucky.
Yeah.
That's a real good insecurity and a really good line, like the love persevering line, where I was like, oh, okay, they just explained everything I need to know about why they're bitter at each other.
And
so annoyed, he keeps asking, and Bucky's like, by not taking the mantle, dude. Like, he also multiple times he's like, we should just go steal that shield. And he's like, remember what happened last time we stole the shield? I was on the run for 2 years.
Yeah. And it's followed or preceded by Sam's line, which is, why can't you and Steve, whether you like it or not, accept that I, Sam Wilson, made the choice I thought was best. And it all goes back to how personal this show is for Sam and Bucky and their experiences. This isn't necessarily, but it's really cool because people tend to forget society's made up of individuals, right? And every individual
live in a society.
Right. Every individual experiences things differently, and regions, countries, race, religions, all of these factors play into how society in general treats people, deals with things. And like I said, Sam, I think he's got a serious self-worth issue. He doesn't believe he's worthy of it, of that title, of that shield, of that mantle, because of his past, being told, you're a black guy. You're a black guy. You can't do it on your own. So here's this government stuff, because you're not capable of passing school. So we're going to lower standard. You're a black man. You're a danger. You're a black. He's all of this crap that he's probably gone through in Louisiana. Yeah. Definitely. I've been to Louisiana before. Lots of good people, several bad people. But that's the thing, is overall, the majority of people are decent and good. But when you get people together, that's I don't know what it is. There's like a number, and you can stack people up to that number and maintain logic and cohesion. But once you go past that number, the like collective IQ starts dropping. People get stupid.
Remember that line from Men in Black where he's explaining to Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones's, why don't you tell everyone about this? And he's like, a person is smart.
Yep.
People are dumb, stupid animals, dumb. Like overreact or some line like that.
Exactly.
That's
It's
exactly
that
what you're
mob mentality, dude.
Yeah.
Twitter is a prime example of
Hell yeah.
mob mentality and overreaction. And then, of course, the worst thing in the world, acting, saying, or doing something without all the information about what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't. I've made mistakes, of course, and done the same, but I really try not to. And yeah, people.
Ultron was
dumb.
a moron. Ultron could have ended the world by just hacking Twitter.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't
right,
need the
right?
nuclear codes or Sokovia. Ultron could have torn us apart from the inside, the Avengers, with some
Just
social media.
Twitter. Yep.
But oh yeah, so then they're done with therapy. They go out, and this also felt like just like a passive aggressive thing where to get their attention, he turns on the police siren again.
That was like, that was fucked up.
Yeah, and then they walk over, and again they have the conversation, and rightfully so, Bucky and Falcon are like, dude, the whole point of us is that we can do shit you can't do. Like, you have to get permission for like every little action. But then that's when they
say,
really
go do this, and we do it. Yeah,
exactly. That's the whole point of the Sokovia Accords with the original Cap was like, what if we want to go somewhere and we can't? What if we don't want to go somewhere and we have to?
Yeah.
And then of course this is where John Walker has turned fully not into a villain, but into like an antagonist towards them. I think bigger villain later, based on the other theories we've had, where he's like, all right, just don't get in my fucking, I can't say fuck on that, but he's like, just don't get in my fucking way then. Because we're both doing the same thing. If we're not going to work together, get out of my way.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Kyle.
Sure.
Do you think, because he doesn't have assuming he doesn't have the superhero serum and the government hasn't dosed him with anything, do you think he's even meant to be a superhero or just a symbol?
Just a symbol.
Because like, you're not going to throw a normal guy on top of a truck with 6 superhumans.
No, he was the military is probably looking at him primarily as a symbol, but they still want to use him in some action for film, again, for propaganda and symbolism, symbology.
So even though he was one of the best, they didn't pick him thinking he would fight the next Avengers level threat.
No.
Or even join the Avengers.
No. He is
the handshaker.
Yeah, he's
hello, Senator, like I'm America.
He's the Captain America of the first Avenger film.
Stands next to the president during inauguration, whatever Captain Americas have to do when they're not superpowered. That's what I was thinking too. So then from that, I think the only scene left is them trying to escape from the airplane with the power brokers showing up, unless I'm forgetting a scene. Oh, no. Right before that, when they're walking away from John Walker, Bucky's like, I know a guy we can talk to who knows a lot about Hydra's secrets.
That's the final scene right there.
No, but he says that, and then there's a scene of them trying to escape the...
No, that happens earlier.
No, that happens between the scenes of them meeting.
Sure.
No, it probably happens right before the scene I mentioned. So yeah, we kind of talked about it earlier. We see them trying to get away. The one super soldier pushes over the power line to buy them time because the power brokers men are coming. Yep. They shoot him dead because obviously super soldiers aren't bulletproof.
No.
And then they have, like you said, it's a big organization, it looks like. Unless they hired mercs locally, like a bunch of SUVs pull up. And like the one guy who gets out and is on the phone with, we assume, the power broker, like you said, speaks perfect English, no accent.
American English, no accents or anything.
When I say no accent as an American, I mean not even a British or an Australian accent.
I have to
he wasn't even
the conversations I have with Cam. Every now and then he'll be that UK asshole when I say something about English. He's like, you don't speak English, you speak American. Shut up, you're Scottish.
Yeah, you don't speak English either, you speak Scottish. And then, and then the final reveal is, I mean, who knows the most about Hydra that's still alive?
Zemo.
And we get to see Zemo through camera footage. I love when they can use Mozart's Requiem in a superhero, supervillain scene they want. They use it in the Watchmen movie and TV show as like the theme for Ozymandias, and they're using it here for Zemo. I think there might be a little bit of Mozart in Civil War, actually, with some of the Zemo scenes.
Possibly.
But they use that. I just love it. It sends chills down my spine. They actually have a shot, we just want Civil War right after. Their shot of the big circle of cars driving around it is the exact same shot from Civil War, not even like from a different angle when they established the location.
Yeah.
And then
been there before.
He's in the same cell. God. I saw it today. He's in the same cell as
Princess Leia 1138.
Yes, that's it.
THX
Star Wars reference.
Which is a reference to Star Wars and George Lucas's student film, which he remade into a full film. THX 1138.
Yep. Seen it. Oh, I forgot it was that connection too. I always forget what number comes after THX in the title of that film. And then, we got Zemo, who we're setting up for a meeting with Bucky.
I can't wait.
And Falcon. I like Falcon's line. What, you're just going to go in there and talk to him?
Yep, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Here was my question for my friends I was watching with. I was like, you don't think he memorized like those 7 words? And my friend Andrew's like, well, isn't he fixed after his time in Wakanda? And I'm like, I guess I don't know fully.
Yeah,
because it would be repetitive, but I would still. I mean, it would be repetitive for the franchise, but I would still enjoy a scene where he says the words and Bucky breaks him out of the jail. It's been done before, but I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, I would actually. I can see it coming from a mile away, but it's still a good scene. Zemo trying to do it. Bucky
that'd be even better.
Playing with him like no more. Stop.
To quote Rumlow from Civil War.
Right, and then
I don't work like that no more.
And then when he's done, Bucky's just like, it doesn't work anymore. And
Bucky then, pretends and then turns around and punches him in the face.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
That's why he has to wear the mask the rest of the movie. His nose is broken for the rest of the TV series. So that's the entire episode. The only other thing I want to mention, we kind of mentioned it, but it's Isaiah's grandson. Eli does become Patriot in the comics, and not only that, according to this wiki about Earth 616, he is the founder of the Young Avengers. Like he's not just a member; he's like he's the Captain America, basically. He's like he's team
Captain
leader.
America wasn't
founder.
In the original Avengers team.
No, but
he's an honorary.
I mean. In the end, he's the leader. So any other Easter eggs you noticed or things you wanted to say about the overall plot?
No, guys, this show is awesome, and it's managing to touch 2 hot button issues: PTSD and racism and behavioral health. So three hot button issues. PTSD related to behavioral health for obvious reasons. Those that avoided it because they thought it was going to be too political, come back, guys. It's not. It's realistic. It's I am the first person.
No more political than Black Panther.
Yeah, I'm the first person to call out bullshit. Nick knows it. I won't. I sometimes do it at the wrong moments. I have the PTSD thing. One of the coping mechanisms in combat is shutting down emotions. It's hard to feel when you're in a stressful situation like that, and so you spend 3 or 4 times overseas turning off the ability to feel. It almost becomes like a scar, almost like a callus, and empathizing with someone can become very, very difficult. And so whenever somebody says something stupid, I might not even know the context, and I'll say my bit, and they're like, oh, you upset me because XYZ was going on. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. But either way, what I'm trying to say is, guys, come back. And those that it's not political enough, or it's not going the direction you want, come back, give it a chance. this is a really good show with something for everyone. It's not just commentary. There's action scenes. There's comedy. There's so much. This has been one of my favorite Marvel projects to watch. And we're only 2 episodes in.
And Phase 4, let's just say, is off to an, even without having any movies released yet, excellent start. Phase 4.
Year and a half late.
Yeah. Black Widow, even farther away.
July. Oh my god.
No, we talked since the last delay. But
why? I know why, but why?
It's all about those dollar bills, which is why the Snyder fans will also lose. They won't get any of their sequels made. But one last thing we'll bring up. I actually really don't want to speculate about it, but it's the article Cam shared that I've already seen.
Oh,
where I'll just read the title of the article. I don't really want to speculate on it. It feels like a trap, like we're being set up, just like in the last show.
What's that?
I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
I have it in a second. Here we go.
I know what you're talking about.
There's the title. It's from comicbook.com. I have to click on it. Comicbook.com. The Falcon and Winter Soldier's head writer teases character in episode 5 who could partner with Thor. That just feels like a trap. But it unless it's a complete lie, he is saying that they're introducing one of the more powerful characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
by episode 5.
Who would that be? You know, who?
He did. The quote does say it's more of a grounded, strong character, which is why he'd love to see him be teamed up with a cosmic character like Thor. But I don't know. I don't want to speculate who it could be. I don't want to spend 3 more weeks speculating about who it could be after all the Mephisto nonsense.
Yeah, we said with this show that speculations would be kind of limited to you and I pretty much said from the get-go, Skrulls maybe a part of it, but we think the main group is super soldiers, and we were right. And
that's actually my pitch for who a power broker might be. He might be a Skrull.
Yeah,
but that's why he cracked the code. But then again, if there have been Skrulls on Earth since '95, how come a Skrull didn't help crack the code?
Yeah,
so that Banner didn't turn into a green monster.
So yeah, I'm excited for it, man. This was a great episode. Let's hurry up and get to next Friday.
Hell yeah. Like I said, I was so moved just by I love the pre-credit scenes and then the Marvel logo and like the music, not the show's theme, but just like the music from the screen. They've done that several times. Not a lot, just across several movies.
Yeah.
And it's always fun. So yeah, I guess we both good?
Yeah, man, we're
Star
set.
Spangled-Man, 2 thumbs up. All right, Kyle, where can thou be found?
You guys can find me on Twitter at that Kyle Malone and Instagram at that one Kyle Malone. That's the number 1, and I host a bunch of podcasts. So check out the YouTube channel and the Genreverse podcast network by LRM Online. And get to know us talking Star Wars, LRMornings, all sorts of stuff.
And I'm at Geeky Nick Dahl on Twitter. And I also do Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, which is a Friday podcast. If you want a little insight, we discuss it far less because it's not the point of our show, but we do review the week before's. So literally, we release on Friday. We're reviewing the last week's episode. Not by reviewing, we talked about it a little bit. We used to call it Vision Check last season. Now it's called Snowbird Watching. So check that out, and then hop on our Discord. I haven't been good about being on lately, but if we can get enough people talking on there and stuff, it could be a nice, fun community to discuss your theories with us about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Black Widow. You know, like don't limit it to Marvel, DC,
Loki's
Star Wars,
Star
Trek.
Whiteboard again.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, Excelsior.
And enough said.